But the thing is, I don't think it was like a pack-in comic or anything. I think it was like just something that was printed out in like a book or a magazine. And I'm like, man, who doesn't have a scanner in 2020? Mike, you got a scanner?
Yes, I got a scanner.
Okay, Tyler, you have a scanner.
What? No.
You don't have a scanner?
No.
What?
Boomer trash. Candace, do you have a scanner?
Why? Yes, I do.
All right, Tyler's the boomer trash of this episode. Well, here, I do say. Welcome to Stasis Lock episode 168, the impeachment of Primal Sabbath, or Primal Sabbath's impeachment. I can't remember what I titled it. I'm just trying to catch like anyone who's searching anything on YouTube. Just trying to.
they're looking for the impeachment. They're like, who the fuck is this?
They see just the big eye. They're like, what's this? And like I'm around the corner, like, gotcha. So.
Go ahead and sub while you're here.
Nice.
Yeah, sub and hit that notification bell for all your Primal Sabbath impeachment news updates.
Primal Pelosi.
Primal Pelosi. Mike, where can people find you at?
Find me everywhere as Angry Mike.
Candace?
I really should just put everything together and make it consistent, right? You can find me on Facebook at Canned Ice Art. You can find me on Instagram at candice.santora, Twitter at Candace Santora, and YouTube, Candace Santora. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good deal. I do have a link to your Facebook, I think.
Oh, thank you.
So, hi Isaac. This is a podcast about Beast Wars, greatest cartoon ever.
Are you
And we got
suffocating the cat?
Peter in the chat.
Yes, sorry. Getting chatty.
No, I heard the cat making a crazy noise. I thought she was suffocating. No, what are you doing with the cat?
Man, I've been going back to some of the older episodes, and the pop that was heard after Candace said she just liked the spotted pussy thing. Oh my goodness. We were talking about Cheetors and the Cheetor meetup at Robocon. She was like, I'm still hung up on spotted pussies. And I was like, really?
It was funny. It's so funny.
It worked. It was the right thing to say at the right time. Tyler, where can people find you at, man?
You can find me everywhere at a Magic the Gathering tournament near you. Dude, you gotta turn it down. You're losing the effect. It's just white noise. Turn it down so it's digestible.
It's already past the part that I wanted it to play at, but
Cringy.
Dalton has his sad songs. You have your emo rap. So tune in next week while I pick a song for someone else.
You got a problem, bitch?
Dude, brother Kyle shared that shit to your Facebook page. I was rolling. I was laughing so hard, man. Like as soon as it started to, like it looks like it's taking place in like a very run down public park. Like not even a full public park, just like here's some basketball goalpost and like maybe like a trail that has some broken concrete in it.
Yeah.
And I saw them all with their crazy hair. And like what's wild, man, is like everyone at least in my like real life friend circle wants the 20s to be the roaring 20s, the emo 20s. I'm like, no, man, that shit wasn't cool when y'all were in high school, and the shit is still dumb looking now. Like, don't do this to yourselves. You're all almost 30.
You could bring back emo girls. I'm fine with that. Emo girls seem
look. You can bring back the aesthetic for sure. The emo girl aesthetic, 100%. 100%.
No, man. Even the mindset, the daddy issues, and all that makes for a great Sunday night.
Well, that's never. I think daddy issues like predates emo chicks, and I think it post dates the emo chick phase. But like I hate my life while I'm on vacation, like that shit you keep that at the door. But yeah, like I wouldn't mind the aesthetic. Like I never did the super tight jeans thing. I'll be honest, I just wasn't fucking built for it. And I really don't want to see 100% of that aesthetic return.
It's like wrapping 2 honey roast hams in saran wrap, isn't it?
Bro, it's like Just two big old pork loins tied up. That's what it would have been. With the ties around them in the rotisserie. I got some. Yeah, it's just sweat. You could like just sweat's just coming through the denim fabric. I got some yams on me, boy.
Fucking shrink wraps.
Dude, tight jeans on me would look like an episode of Dexter real fast.
I bet you trying to get them tight jeans on would really get you roaring, wouldn't it?
I'd have to Earl up. I gotta go get some Earl from the Gulf.
Oh my God, you don't almost need
these yams.
Prussian nuts.
Whew. Like it's just nothing about like there were some husky fellas my size that did that participated. And then I'm not shaming anyone. I just like it's just less than ideal. I'm like, bro, how? Like they were doing that. I was still wearing Dragon Riders, the trip pants, aka KO Jinkos. I was wearing those and like blue jean shorts still. I was like, there's no way. Like pants at all is just too binding. But you want them to go like 2 size too small.
Did you have?
Can't do it, Höls.
The collared shirts with the like dragon and fire designs on them.
No, my friend Ray did. He was big into dragons.
Man, those guys
he was really big into
cool. Like you think emo was?
And they were silk. They were silk. There was like silk with the dragon design.
Ever seen a skinny guy with gelled up hair with sunglasses on inside with one of them shirts on? Motherfucker looked like he was ready to duel.
Bro, so that was pretty much my boy Ray in a nutshell, and he also had he did like the short hair. He did the some of the emo cuts, not any of the extravagant emo cuts, but he even got hair extensions because he couldn't grow his hair out long enough to match mine and our other friend Wade's. Like me and Wade, we had the longest hair in the group, so he went and got hair extensions. Like dyed his hair black, got black hair extensions. It was the funniest shit ever. He was a emo anime character, no doubt. So I don't want that aesthetic to come back. Mike, did you get anything this week?
Yes, matter of fact, I got something very good. Matter of fact, I got it today. It was a brand new $180 battery for my car.
Oh my God!
Ouch.
Yes.
So it was the battery then.
I thought you were going to talk about that cancellation email you got from.
No.
Yeah,
I was saving that.
I was gonna say, Mike, what was taken away from you this week?
My black arachnia, my 18-inch Funko Pop, Burning Convoys. So Entertainment Earth, you can suck it.
Well, that's definitely not getting your account back.
Oh, it's cool.
You're definitely not doing them any favors. They're not.
Let's finish this.
Real quick, we have Lego Nardo 11 in the chat. Kabar is in the chat. What's up, Kabar? Kabar says, I never got into girl pants, but I did have the long hair and the Black Death Metal Band tee look for several years. I still opt for the darkest color shirt possible in my arsenal at any given point in time. Once I go through the black shirts, I'll move my way onto the gray and then to the light gray, and then whatever's left is left. I'm not super picky.
I'm always rocking heavy metal shirts, man. Even when I was management, I kept that shit on underneath all my professional shit. This is like, I don't want to let the stain me. You know what I'm saying?
I live the life. I am the life.
You don't understand though, because there are some people that live that professional, 3-digit or 6 digits a year, very calm pop music kind of lifestyle. So every day after meetings and everything, I would have to come home, and on my drive home, I would have to cleanse myself by blasting some of the heaviest shit I got.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, bud. If it was just like, hey, you got to listen to pop music, and that's the secret to 6-figure a year salaries, I'm in. I don't need.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it. Like,
I don't need the remnants of my high school music tastes anymore. Like, and there's very little of that left.
yeesh, it's not high school music taste. Shut up.
It was definitely my high school music taste.
Being a metal.
And I mean, it's like I'll be honest, dude. Like, nothing has come along since that I've just been like, that catches my ear. No, it's just everything.
Okay, boomer.
That I listened to like for like 2004. Like 2004 is where I cut it off.
Oh, Korn?
No, I said 2000. It's a 2004.
Freak on a Leash. That's where you cut it off.
That was 98. It was 98, sir. No, man, it really cuts off at like Damage Plan, and like there's some later like 2008 Lamb of God that I'll still indulge in. I haven't heard anything new from them just because I don't follow their social medias. So I'm sure if like they put out anything new, I would still like it. But like Trivium, no. Trivium's a big no. Anything new they put out has just been awful since the Crusade.
Are you a Child of Bodom fan?
Bodom? I did. I listened to a little bit of a Lexi Leho, even though he's just fucking nails on a chalkboard screaming. They had some pretty good sounding music to it. Chris Barnes, like me, like what he just said is pretty much me in a nutshell. High school was just Pantera shirts, and like that's exactly what it was. I probably had like 4 Pantera shirts that I would just wear. I would make 4 go into 7 somehow because I was nasty in high school.
Jesus.
We had Juan in the chat. I saw him up there earlier. What's up, Juan? Candace, did you get anything this week?
I did. I finally, nobody really cares anymore because they got theirs like 6 months ago, but I finally got my black
you got your she spider.
I did.
How do you like it?
Yeah,
pretty awesome. She's so cute and tiny and light.
I was gonna say, how blown away were you when you opened the box and it was that small?
It was pretty blown. I mean, I knew she was gonna be small, but damn.
Like the thing that surprised me most wasn't necessarily the size; it was just how lightweight.
Yes.
I was just like, whoa! Like
and she came
the
with
proper
her
gust
pin.
of wind.
So I guess the weight kind of worth it. She came with her pin, so I don't have to buy that separately once.
None of mine came with a pin. I had to get one from Joe. How do you feel about them doing pins now instead of coins?
I don't freaking know. Just pick something and stick with it. I don't care.
True.
I just want it to be consistent.
Okay, boomer. I would still prefer the coins, honestly.
I think I would too. I'm not gonna wear the pin, but
right now I'm in too deep. Like I gotta get all the little crazy Hasbro Asia accessories. Hey! Oh, this is what she said? Oof.
In too deep.
Jeez.
Mike, you're into pegging, aren't you?
No, you're supposed to.
What'd you say, Tyler?
Nothing. I thought you were repeating it because Candace said it. I was like, Candace, no, you're supposed to be the good one.
No. Mm-mm.
She just made you think
my
that.
coworkers. I used to be innocent. My coworkers changed it.
Or did you skip that shit?
What was that?
Did you have an emo phase, or did you just skip that shit?
Oh no, I totally skipped that. My younger sister, went through that gothic.
Now, I was gonna ask. I was like, did you really skip it, or are you just telling us you skipped it?
Come on, do I? Well,
because unfortunately, there's no MySpace to go back and cross fact check you on this. So we just got to kind of take your word.
You're gonna have to.
Oh, okay. You obviously are saying that emo or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, it was way past your time, Mike.
It was.
You're a little too old there, Peppo.
Yep.
So, Tyler, did you get anything this week?
Yeah, I did actually. I got those Halo figures that I ordered from Joe. I got the ODST from Halo 2. I got Dutch from ODST, and I got the Ranger Elite from Halo Reach. That's the best Elite in the franchise. Don't at me. And I got Kate Diaz from Storm Collectibles.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the day where we can be like, Mike, what'd you get this week? And he says, I got a dishwasher.
already got one of those. You hear it being used?
Oh my God! It gets funnier.
That's ridiculous.
Oh man, that's that good 1980s humor. That's that my parents were born in 54 humor.
Yeah.
My mom was born in 54 though. I can't really talk too much shit. I got a couple of things in this week. I got
what'd you get,
some
man?
GI. Oh, thanks for asking. I got some GI Joe prototypes, which I don't have here with me, and I probably wouldn't show them. I don't know if that dude wants me like showing that stuff off yet or not. But I also got the little Beast Wars Remune Dinobot, and it's so tiny.
So cute.
But it's
Dinobot.
it's hang on. Here's the classic scale reference here. Pack of smokes. Yeah, it's smaller than I thought it was gonna be. I didn't think it was gonna be much bigger. That's what she said. But I definitely didn't expect it to be this tiny. That's also what she said. And so when I got it out, it kind of surprised me. And like I wish the rest were as easy to find. I would totally pick up like the full set just because I think they would be cool. Like if I were to ever play Monopoly ever again in my adult life, I would want a reskinned like Beast Wars Monopoly board. So like the currency is Energon or credits or whatever the currency was in that. And I would use them as like little Monopoly pieces. I think that'd be a little neat instead of like a fucking shoe and whatever else. It's a boot. Excuse me. Instead of footwear. I think they're neat. Like they're definitely like board game piece size. And I know there was a board game that came out in Japan. I don't think it used like these little things, but anyway, it's cool. I got it for my Dinobot display, of course. So
cool.
And I think that's all that I got. I lost my my Burning Convoy pre-order this week, and my fourth MP Black Arachnia. I lost that.
I feel your pain.
It's fine. Like honestly, it gave me a little bit of clarity because as soon as you refunded me the money, I hit up Joe asking about Burning Convoy, and he was just like, "Well," and I told him I wanted the pin as well. He said, "Well, he said if you buy another Black Arachnia, he'll just give you the pin for free." I was like, "No, I mean, I kind of got a little, I'll get it. I'll get it if I decide to get it. Like to me, like that's just the universe telling me that I don't need to do like season displays like I do for my vintage stuff, and I'll just be fine with the upgraded bodies or whatever.
You'll be fine until you're not.
Yeah, I'll be fine until like I'm just like, you know what, this season 2 shelf would look really good with a Black Arachnia, and then she's like $500 on the aftermarket, something crazy. So that'll be when I do that, I guess. So anyways, there's something else I wanted to pick up from Agabus though. So anyways, I'm just waiting on Joe. Always waiting on Joe. But other than that, I think that's it. So,
dope.
All right, let's get on to it. This week, our
can
beast
we start
banging?
with Mike's thing? Let's start with Mike's thing first.
Mike's thing.
Yeah, the getting his order canceled. I thought we were gonna like get right into it.
No, I think he's gonna do an Angry Mike onto that, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm doing Angry Mike.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so so tune in to Angry Mike. Yeah, that's a story.
Mouth.
He called me. He called me yesterday before he let everyone in the group chat know. He was just like, "Dude, so don't be mad." and then he told me, and like all I could do was laugh because that shit was so funny. But I will say this: snitches get stitches. So little little preview, just a little preview. All right, I know, Mr. Kitty. This week's beast banging.
Transformers fans bring it to the streets.
Yes.
No, Mike. This week it's striped pussies. So I didn't take any of these pictures. I only have 2 of the 3. and I just didn't feel like doing shit. So I've credited all the images in the slideshow. Blah blah blah, whatever. So this is the Hasbro version, which is hard to tell. Like in pictures, it's hard to tell the difference between Hasbro and Takara unless they're like next to each other and not on a white background, rather. But as you can see, this was Premiere Wave. They got some colors changed around from this one to the show model. Show model had silver forearms and teal on the shins and knees. And for whatever reason, they gave him black eyes on the toy. And like, they didn't paint the tiger eyes in at all. Just strange. It's very strange. Mutant Mask had silver eyes though, so a little bit different from Cheetor. Cheetor, I think the robot mode had gold and gold for Robot and Mutant Mask. It's been a while. I'll have to check it out.
True.
Yeah. This is the Takara one. The only difference you're going to be able to tell here is there's a little stripe on the eye. Just right there. Some of the striping is different, like ever so slightly, like not really at all, but it's there. There's a extremely subtle difference that if you had them, you would know. And this is where they fixed the paint swappage here. So he's got the teal on the crotch piece, the knees and the shins, and the silver for the toes and the forearms. And he's got red eyes. So, in robot mode. But they kept the silver on the Mutant Mask. And then the creme de la creme, the money, as it were, the Telemoka Tigatron. So they painted this guy up crazy. All the teal paint is now metallic. The stripes are like a little thick and like a little bit different. Almost, they look kind of like CGI and grainy, sort of. It looks like they even painted the teeth, like the little tooth here. Looks like that may also be painted white, which white on white doesn't make sense, whatever. And the black toenails on the beast mode feet. And we can see the tail butt gun here. It's a silver barrel. And kind of, they painted the gut gun, which they did not do on the other two. Here, they kind of just mixed all of it up. Like, you get both teal and silver on the forearms and hands, which is weird. Crotch piece and shins, it's just that metallic teal. Looks like the fins may be painted silver. It's hard to tell. Sabertron took way too bright pictures of this. Eyes are red. Mutant Mask is completely teal. No eyes are painted in. But look at the beast mode eyes. Those dots right there looking down. Oh, no. Just intense on those pupils. I like the kind of like sharp pupil, like when cats are like about to pounce on something, instead of that super rounded open eye look. But I get it. I think the rounded eye was probably more show accurate anyways. But here we have Kittner, Telemoka, and Takara in that order from left to right. And a little bit of fun backstory is originally he was going to be Tigatron, and he was going to be painted like a traditional tiger, orange with black stripes. And the forearms and the teal pieces were going to be green. That's easier to say. This was shown in the Toy Fair catalog, and it is a Photoshop. However, there was a hand-painted sample, and there's a extremely grainy, like not even cell phone quality from like the early 2000s, like less than that picture of the painted Tigatron that they were going to be using. Now, I don't know if it's hand painted or if it was machine painted. No one knows, because if it is in a private collection, they're extremely private about it. Anyways, that's my picture. I took that scan. So, shameless plug, I know.
You really have to tell us you got it plastered there on the screen.
Yeah, but for the audio listeners who can't see the picture anyways. But Mike, this is my Notice Me, I'm Important.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Mike.
right there. Yeah, dude, get with it. Piece of
For any
shit.
of the really old fans, not the people that are just tuning in now, but for any of the really old fans, you'll understand when I say this. I know we were just looking at a bunch of Transformers toys, but all I saw was a bunch of dicks.
That's good. I was wondering how we were gonna work that in.
If you get it, you get it.
Tyler.
Yeah. You gotta. That's an old throwback. You gotta appreciate.
Yes,
You gotta be around for a while to appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Tigatron. There's plenty to get out there. There's only 3 using original molds. But it's still...
I'm kind of surprised we never saw one from that universe Cheetor. I mean, I know it doesn't technically look like a tiger, but Cheetor didn't look like a cheetah. He looked like a tiger to begin with in the original line. So
yeah, I'm really surprised we didn't get a Shadow Panther. Like Kabar had bought a custom Shadow Panther using that universe mold, and as a custom, like it looked really good. I was like, man, okay. But I'm pretty glad. I'm glad they didn't even try to remold that thing into a Tigatron. It was a bad figure. It was just a bad figure, man.
yeah.
So, but it is what it is. If you want all 3 of them, I don't know. It's probably like what, $500 now. Something
Just have one alone, probably $500.
Atrocious. No, the Telemoka, I've seen it like around 200. I don't think it's actually selling for 200. I should say, like if you wanted it right now and you were impatient, I think like somewhere between 200 and 300. It's ridiculous, and like I can't even find Takara ones on like Yahoo Japan anymore, which is where I got mine, and it was yellowed, so I had to take it apart and soak it in hydrogen peroxide for a full day in the sun. But I can't find those anymore. And that was pretty cheap. I think I paid like 25 or 30 for it. So it's they getting up there. They're either like not found or they just getting up there. But speaking of getting up there, you should follow our social medias at facebook.com/beastwars, twitter.com/StasisLockCast. And you can always email us with your questions, any topics you want us to cover at StasisLockPodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to join our awesome Face Wars Facebook group, the Beast Wars Society. It's buy, sell, trade, and discussion. You should join now if you already haven't. And don't forget to answer those questions. You don't answer those questions, we don't let you in. Tyler might let you in.
Oh, well.
Me and Mike.
I do not. No, I realized you guys were talking about that before. I don't let anybody in. I actually decline people if they don't answer the questions after 24 hours.
Yeah, I see. I wait for 24 hours. Mike was just like, if I don't see it at first, then I give him the boot. And I was like, well, wait. Like, at least wait.
Your fucking ass is gone.
So yeah, you gotta ask. You gotta answer those questions. They're there for. It's just 3 questions. Super easy. We're not judgy or anything.
I am.
So, Mike is. He's the boomer of us. So we got some artwork this week from Lord Peter, and this week it's bricks. So Chris, so clutch. So continuing on with the night aesthetic.
I actually really like this one.
I really like the purple wings here, or like the kind of pinkish, the fade. You know what I'm talking about.
It took me a long time to figure out
what's his beast mode again. Is he a pelican?
Looks like a bat.
Because of that big
No, it's a
ass
bat.
nose? Oh,
It's a bat.
Oh,
You see
the feet.
the bat head down
the
here on the
night
feet.
scream thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is also hilarious. He actually made something we make fun of Chris for look cool.
That's awesome.
The bio I thought was funny how it's just completely not Chris. Like talks about honor and vigilance. I was like, no, that ain't Bricks.
That ain't our boy.
That ain't our boy Bricks. But it works. Shout out to the founder. Never forget. He's always getting a shirt whenever I make shirts, which I didn't do last year, but maybe I'll do this
Even
year.
if he tells you not to send him one.
Yeah, he'll never turn down a free shirt. Like it's just he's gonna get to a point where he doesn't have to buy shirts anymore because he's just gonna keep getting free shirts.
True.
So I'll be of War Minister's Brick Shop's CEO periodically. So pretty cool there. I do like this. I love the tech spec deal he's doing. And there's kind of a group shot. Everyone that's been involved, and then a small version. I think this is still like 2D art. I don't think he's given it the kind of like CG almost render that the rest have.
Who
I think
is
it's
that?
still just traditional flat colors. That would be. I think that's. Hang on. Which one is Kabar? Has Kabar already been done? Because if not, then that's probably Kabar.
Rodri's the
I'm
one
trying
with the
to-
6-pack that you can spot from a mile away.
Dude, you can like on this image alone, you could shave your face with that.
You know what's
Cut
funny?
that
I love
six-pack
how
is.
Brett chose an alligator because alligators are old as time. I think
And shout out to Brett. He's at a banquet right now, man, and like he was like, I don't want to go. I was like, dude, why don't you want to go? It's free food.
yeah.
I'd love to go. I'd love to be at that banquet.
So
Eating all that
Sportimus
free food.
is the spotted cheetah. Is that it?
Yeah, it's like a leopard.
Dalton's the furry, the
That's-
robot on all fours.
Right down here. Mike's a little penguin missing some toes.
Isn't Kabar the penguin? Oh, Mike's the penguin.
No, Mike's the penguin.
You're the fat
I'm
goat. I'm the
the fat
chubby
goat.
shark.
Yep, that's Candace.
Candace is
The
the really,
elephant.
really tall elephant.
I know,
tall.
I'm like the shortest one on the podcast, but the tallest one there. Woo!
Yeah.
Joe is the bear, so I think that is Kabar.
Is that
I
Joe?
think this
Okay,
is
so
Kabar.
yeah,
he's working.
Kabar's the owl.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's tough for me to remember everyone's name.
owl.
Oh, Tom
Who-
the Bomb
who-
is the owl.
Tom the Bomb is the owl. Then this is
Kabar's the
Kabar.
jaguar.
Okay, it's
Sportimus was
is that a-
removed.
that's not
Ooh,
a jaguar.
Sportimus
Yeah,
was
he used
removed.
easy. That was an executive decision.
Take it, Sport.
Was he really?
Well, we needed room. And-
Cybercast more like cyber trash. Am I right?
Oh, easy. I'm so
Peter.
part of that, you know. That's still a personal attack on my branding.
Go birds.
I co-founded that show. I co-founded that. Go eat your curds. You fucking moose lover. So
Don't make me
Anyways,
give
group
you the
shot
moose knuckle
updated.
Shuffle.
he's oh my god. So you're just gonna lay me? That's it? That's because that's what that is.
You can't see me, eh?
Oh my god.
No, it's a play on John Cena. What are you talking about?
I know. You said the moose knuckle shove. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Moving right along into some news. Originally, we were gonna have news.
Here's a big womp womp.
What news?
I had a womp womp. Well, the news we bring you every week is the Stasis Lock Ultra Gear Photo Op. Bring your masterpiece cheat or to Pete's Robocon, June 5th or 6th, 2020, in Louisville, Kentucky, for an epic galloping gyroscopic gathering of the most open cheat ors in one location. Don't forget, bring your shit. This week is
Oh, you added it.
also spotted pussy. This week, we got something from Generation Toy after 2 years.
Settle down.
What do you mean settle down? It's been 2 years.
No. You said spotted pussy, and someone went.
Oh.
I said settle down.
Oh, okay. I was like, what am I settling down for? Yeah, remember when we saw this render 2 years ago, and then we saw like a not even close to a finished test shot like 6 months ago. I don't know if it was 6 months ago, but it looks like we're finally seeing some fully painted final color samples. This is I joked around. I think I even put it in the show notes. This is Generation Toy taurine, and I don't know if you guys know what taurine is, but it's found in Red Bull and various other energy drinks, and it's also found in bull cum. So, Generation Toy really should name this thing taurine. Taurine, whatever it's called. How you
See, I
pronounce it.
think they knew that, and they were like, "That's a bad idea."
No, that's a great idea. If they do it, I'll buy it. Like that
Like-
will be I don't care about this design at all. Granted, it looks better than the renders that we saw initially, in my opinion.
This isn't Toy World we're talking about.
If they name this thing after Bullcom, I'm about it. I'm 100%.
Golly.
So I will say it does in the initial.
What they should have done is called it Pred Bull.
Pred Bull.
They could just call it Sideswipe.
Yeah. What's Hasbro going to do? Other than, shut their Taobao down. What's Hasbro going to do? But,
Suck it.
That's right.
Hey, you better watch it, Mike. Hasbro about to come after you next and shut down your Pulse account.
That's okay. This shit ain't free no more. Fuck them.
Dude. Well, isn't it? Is it like I'm surprised? I think it resets in February. Like I feel they're going to do they've got to do the same thing. Pulse is going to have to do the same thing where they put a surprise exclusive up in February. Wasn't the Megatron? Wasn't that at Toy Fair? They were like, you can go get this G2 Combat Hero Megatron, and you get the free year of Pulse or whatever. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to pay $50 just to get free shipping and still get shit at the same time or slightly later than some other spot.
As no one now looked at their shipping charges, they're more expensive than the club was.
Oh yeah, I know. That's another thing because they ship FedEx, where like the club would ship the post office, or they had options at the very least. But yeah, dude, the Pulse shipping is outrageous. But like I said, I think at Toy Fair they're going to be like, you can go order this now and you'll get a year. I mean, like, because that's essentially what the club did. The club would sell you something that cost them, or that they would sell normally for $30, and they would tack on whatever another $20 or $30 to cover magazine, and then you'd get BotCon discounts and all that shit. But yeah,
No more.
I think that's what that's the thing, man. Like if Pulse doesn't do that shit, I'm like, well, whatever, man. I already paid for my Unicron, so I mean, it's gonna come for free. I do, however, I want to know some stuff coming in February that if I don't get the free shipping on those pre-orders, if they're like, oh fuck you, we're gonna charge you shipping, then I'll be like, okay, I'll pay that $50. Like they'll scare me into it.
So I'm kind of interested as to why they decided to go with Sideswipe for the Bull alt mode, seeing as Sideswipe is usually a fast character. He's a Lambo or a Ferrari or some shit.
He's a Lambo, and I really want to answer your question before you ask more questions, but I'll let you finish.
He's also got the horns on the head like Cliff Jumper. I feel like Cliff Jumper would have made more sense because in Prime he also had the bull horns on the hood.
Yep. Do you know why Sideswipe, who was a Lamborghini, has a bull alt mode?
No.
Because the Lamborghini logo is a bull.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's why I want it, but it's okay. Yeah. I do like the bull horns though, but like even Sideswipe's robot mode had some little horns. They weren't this sharp and they weren't quite bull horns. They were sort of same shaped, just kind of square. So it fits. But he cleans up nice. Again, like the chest looks to be a lot more compressed than those original renders. And I like that. I like the way it looked. Like I don't know what it was about those renders, man. They just didn't set well with me at first. So if they name it taurine, I'm gonna get it. Give me my bull spunk. So, anyways, that was gonna be the the picture for the news.
I think it looks good. Honestly, I don't ever imagine myself being in on it. I have no tie to any G1 characters, but yeah, I don't know. It does. It's a shame because it does look good. It's just like I don't see the necessity for it.
I mean, not only that, but like they're too separated. Like between their generation, between their Gorilla, and then this, and then like DX9's Ancestrod, the hot rod, like which apparently was trash. And then there was another company that was making the big seagull Starscream bird thing, and like I don't think I've seen anything come about that. Like they had a big prototype of it and everything.
Yeah.
But
honestly, I think Dinobot would have sold better. If they did the T-Beast version of Dinobot, I think that would have sold better than this. I don't think this is going to sell well at all because I don't think there's a market for it.
I think it'll sell just because Sideswipe was made a popular character by the movies. So I do. I think they're just kind of hoping the name association and with the character like that he'll sell. But
maybe
I think that T-Beast designs are probably better suited for the Legend scale because didn't Transform Elements putting their hat in the ring for some T-Beast stuff too with the Bumblebee, the T-Beast Bumblebee design, and I think that one was small scale, but I don't know. I don't think we got any clear answer on that one.
I don't know if I want that either. Like that, it just doesn't make sense. Do Beast Wars characters. You started off with Leonidas from Perfect Effect and Primal from Generation Toy. Why not do other Beast Wars characters? Because that makes sense because they were all beasts.
Because I think Bumblebee, regardless of how sick and tired we are of him as a character, is still a good seller. So if anyone sees that Bumblebee head and like Bumblebee is still the most popular character ever. And I unfortunately don't see that going away. So it was a safe move for him. Where Black Arachnia and Rat Trap, I feel were risky. It's always good to so their Prime was a safe move. It's an Optimus Prime.
So I feel like Black Arachnia was to capitalize on the MP coming out because there was hype there.
You may be
and
right.
I'm curious how well it did. And I think Rat Trap will because Rat Trap's a fan favorite from the Beast Wars show. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You're more likely to move more Rat Traps than you are to move a Scorponok.
I would agree with that too, but again, I really want to know how well received all of those characters were in the Chinese dub. Like in the Japanese dub, they all had like goofy quirks and things like that. Little vocal tics. Like they definitely made them different characters for sure. But I wonder how things went in the Chinese dub, where they had compelling names such as Dinosaur and Captain Orangutan and like whatever. The Chinese names are crazy. Go look that shit up if you haven't. Like it's definitely worth looking up. Like looking up the Chinese Beast Wars names. It's very, very KO-ish, I feel. So that's it for our news. Been a slow week. Okay. TM2 Dinobot, I think, said it pretty well here. Doesn't matter what you want. You're an American, even though Tyler's Canadian.
I'm actually Canadian.
There's 350 million of us and 1.8 billion Chinese. They are the main market. Chinese are designing the Chinese market in mind. That's fair.
For sure.
I would absolutely get behind that logic as well.
That was a very actually moment of you.
What's Peter saying Dong Hong the Dragon to? Is that Megatron's name?
Yeah, no, it was Dong Long. Remember? They were talking about Tiger Hawk. I was actually just watching that. The name that they put down for Megatron was Dong Long.
Oh my god.
It was amazing. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So all right. We have a topic and a viewer question. We'll tackle the topic first.
He's going to be jumping in here shortly. He may be backstage already.
Let's see. Is He's
probably been screaming
obscenities. Yeah, if someone would have just let me know, I would have let him in. He could talk about some news.
Nothing in the private chat. We didn't know. Jeez.
Yeah, Jed, how come you didn't reach out to the private chat?
Greetings and salutations.
All right.
Nice.
That's not Jed, so.
Nice.
Man. What's up, man?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
For all our
How are
viewers
you
out
this
there, if
evening?
you're not familiar with Jed, he is 1/3 of the Blackout and Shout podcast. He's not the most popular one, that being Mike Kincaid. We all know that.
He's
He
not
doesn't.
quite a day walker.
I am the Senate.
Jed is definitely the crew of Mike Kincaid's crew.
Oh my God.
I'm more like 15th, 16th of the show.
Yeah. Jed does all
That's
the
also
work.
fair.
Mike's all the personality. Jed does
Can
all
you guys
the
hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
How's the volume? Okay. All right. Last time I was on the show, it sounded like a cricket. So
That was Google Hangouts, so fuck them Google Hangouts.
StreamYard is significantly better.
It is a little bit better.
So the
So-
reason we invited Jed on over to the Stasis Lock is because on episode 86, Beryllium Baloney of Blackout and Shout, he said his idea to reincorporate Beast Wars into the, is it mass market or mass media, would be to kind of fuse G1 and Beast Wars together in this sort of like harmonious tale of everyone getting along.
Hey,
And I
but
thought it would
Jed,
be-
I have a just a real quick, but Jed, what about the scale? The Beast Wars characters are gonna be too small.
Dude, it could literally have scale doesn't matter in the opening theme song and people would bitch.
The name of the show could just be
scale doesn't
Transformers.
matter. Scale doesn't matter. Beast Wars. Beast Wars. Scale doesn't matter. But no, well, you're kind of half right, Tyler. Right. So it was the question was from Dakota. He said, "How would you want to incorporate like crossovers with Transformers besides like other '80s properties?"
Hang on a second.
right?
Hang on a second. Mike, are you in the tumble dry right now?
What?
What?
It was a joke. It sounded like you were tumbling around in a dryer. Never mind.
I'm muted. That ain't me.
Sorry, that was my cat.
Did you throw it against a wall? That was some loud thumping, man.
He's disabled, so he thumps around a lot. He can't walk right.
Damn!
Wow, Tyler, I bet you feel like a fucking
Damn.
piece of shit right now, don't you?
You don't make fun of
Wow.
my cat. He's got issues. He can't help it.
Is he
Oh,
spoiled?
Tyler's typing up a three-page apology right now.
That's right.
That's the first and only pussy I would be hashtag me too'd by. I'll tell you that right now.
Wow. What show am I
We're not
on?
monetized. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're not making money on this anymore. So
Yeah.
if anybody
I mean-
wants their 5-cent cut from the Primal Sabbath years, you just let me know. You gotta pay for the postage though.
Anyways, going back to what you were saying, Jed.
So what I was saying is that Dakota asked a question about crossing over Transformers, franchise with other franchises and how they've done like Ghostbusters and, a bunch of other garbage, and now how they're going to be doing the Terminator in comics and stuff. And
There was a rumor
his
for Back to
question
the
was,
Future.
what franchise?
What it's worth. Back to the
Yeah.
Future.
And they did Star Trek, which was horrible, and like all the other stuff that's just been ridiculous. So I said that probably the best thing to cross over with would be the Beast Wars, because they're both basically in the G1, kind of, continuity, I guess you want to call it, or whatever.
That's what it
But
is.
it was always like in the Beast Wars episodes, they were, turned off, most of the time. It didn't really kind of have like a lot of interaction with one cast with the other cast. And they've done that in the IDW books, as Dakota well knows. And I think they've done it well.
But very
and scale's not
sparingly.
really an issue.
Like that's something like
Right.
I would talk like it was like just enough for a tease.
Mm-hmm. And in the latest cartoon, what is that? Cyber? That's not right. Transformers. Cyberverse. That's it. They included Cheetor, and then that's so if you get rid of the scales all wrong, eliminate all that. Then I think you could probably have a good story where you'd have like Rhinox interacting with, say, Ironhide, or you could have Rat Trap, telling Bumblebee to go fuck off or some shit like that. So there's a lot of really good story points that you kind of, and the other point was to get it all off of Earth. Just go get away from Earth, get away from humans, just have them, be on their own, doing whatever they're doing.
I wouldn't necessarily be mad. Like maybe not necessarily like with like you're talking like Maximals and Autobots working against like Predacons and Decepticons.
Right.
I would like the story I've always wanted is with more than just two factions. So we could get a third and potential fourth faction out of Maximals Predacons, and there's just a four-way split. Like it's a more complicated thing, but I think it would make a compelling story if done correctly. Because you have two characters that are like two groups rather that are striving to be the alpha, terror entity, and then you have two other subgroups that are thinking, okay, I'm doing the most right thing. And maybe it's not so black and white. I just think that would be a better told story.
Are you thinking where it would be like the Maximals, Decepticons, Predacons, and Autobots like all kind of team up against this third, more evil faction?
Maybe no. Like honestly, no. Like I wouldn't say like I would say that the four factions there would just be trying to outdo each other in whatever regard. And I would think that some team ups that would be unlikely, like say Maximals and Decepticons have to team up because the Autobots got a leg up on the Maximals, and they obviously wouldn't team with the Predacons.
Do you remember the old Secret Wars comic?
No, it's been years since I read it. Years.
So you had the good guys. And then you had the bad guys, right? And all the good guys were like all the Avengers and Spider-Man and Hulk and everybody. And then you had all the bad guys like Doctor Doom and, everybody over there. But then you had the X-Men. And they were like this third faction that even though they were good guys, the good guys like the Avengers and stuff didn't trust them because they were mutants. And there was like this whole racial thing where they didn't trust them just because of that. So they kind of split off into their own third faction during this whole Secret Wars. So I could kind of see something possibly like that.
That's kind of where I'm leaning. Like I would prefer it to be something like the Maximals and Predacons kind of squash their beef and kind of join forces against the Autobots and Predacons, because like something like the Beast form is the most purest form of Transformer or whatever. You know what I mean? Like give it some kind of zealot appeal and almost like a cult of beast formers, and the Autobots.
That's very Hitler-ish.
That's what I was gonna say. Like that's very Unicron miniseries-ish, because that's essentially what happened. Like Onyx Prime led all the beasts against all of the colonies. All the beast formers were united against Cybertron and Earth, Autobot, Decepticon. It didn't matter. They were all kind of united there, and while maybe it wasn't the best executed miniseries, it was certainly good, but it wasn't great. I wouldn't want it to stop at those four. Like I would want to see the mini-cons. I would want to see the Blentrons. Like there's so many groups and sub-factions of Transformers lore that can be pulled from. Like I'm done with all this two-dimensional, two-sided bullshit. I think like it's got to be. I think they should do something where it's all or nothing. And maybe not necessarily just three sides to this conflict.
Well, I think three sides to the conflict is a good place to start, because it adds that like unexpected surprise element when two sides are facing off. The third one could arrive at any moment and change the absolute overall dynamic of the battle. You know what I'm saying? And there could be now there's three players in motion instead of just one and two playing chess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I also think adding beasts as like their own separate subgenre could also create, or not subgenre, subfaction, could also create different subfactions. Like the only time we've ever really seen it in like TV is Transformers Prime with the Predacons, with Predaking, and then his two in the movie Predacons Rising. where they were going kind of like separate sub-faction doing their own thing. And I really like that idea, but imagine that blown up to the scale of like a regular Transformers show.
I would also say to a degree, we saw it in Transformers Cybertron. Like to a degree, everything was kind of mostly split off into planets, whatever. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Jed?
One thing is like dynamics working against each other. So you could have like Maximals possibly having like a hero worship, with like the Autobots, where it's just like Mike Rage quit. Where you could have like say I don't know, like maybe Cheetor or something, like he's just like he looks up to the Big Bot, but he like looks up even more to this legendary characters that all he has heard of like in myth or legend of some sort. And then the internal dynamics between the Predacons and the Decepticons is where they just blatantly just outright don't trust each other, and it's just one treachery after another of them against each other. But then that could also work against each other, where like say for example you have this whole Maximal group, and then you have say Autobots who are like animal type of alternate things that lean more toward like animalistic type of personality, may want to defect and join them instead. You have Dinobots. You have just think of the episode like called The Primitives from the G1 cartoon.
Dakota, you're muted, or your mic's not working. You're talking, but nothing.
I was gonna say, just like you mentioned that, I was like the Dinobots. Like at that point, it would be an unfair fight. Like if the Dinobots decided they wanted to side with the Maximals in any kind of a power struggle, like that's it. There's I don't feel like there's nothing any of the rest of the let's just say for the sake of argument 84 to 86 Autobot cast, like I don't think there's anything that group collectively could do.
If you think like situation, maybe some of them do and some of them don't, maybe like the smart one go and the dumber ones stay, or even with Decepticons, maybe like say Ravage, Laserbeak, and maybe even the Predacons on from G1 decide they want to be part of that. So yeah, I mean there's a lot that can happen between the dynamics of those teams.
So
and then
something else, and sorry, go ahead, Jed.
I was going to say the last thing is like you have Insecticons who are insects, which could be more of a third faction you might be thinking about that don't want to have to do with anything to do with any of the groups, and that could be like a third faction.
That's
so you could have let's think of all the insects that are part of Maximals and Predacons, right? I don't think there were any insects in Maximals, right? No. So
other than in Japan was the only one that had insects that were Maximals.
So a lot of those members would leave the Predacon team to be with Insecticons, and they'd have that whole group. So
Tyler has kind of worked on a bit of a fan theory of like having different like body based animals, like a team of water based characters, kind of be their own little unit, and land based and air based, things like that, which I wouldn't hate seeing either, but I really wouldn't want to convolute too much.
Yeah. So so my idea around this, have you guys read Transformers Exodus or Exiles? Those two books by what's his name?
I didn't read them, but they were the Transformers Prime tie-in novels. I know what they are. I just haven't read them.
Right, they're official History War for Cybertron novels. Yeah. Have you read them, Jed?
No.
Okay,
nope.
So in the books, in the comics, in the actual novels, when they leave.
That's an old throwback. That's full of throwbacks tonight.
In the books, when they leave Cybertron, they're journeying through space to find, I think it's to find the Matrix or find the Allspark or whatever, because it's ejected from Cybertron. And on their journey to Earth to find the Allspark, or just their journey to find the Allspark, they stop on this planet called Velocitron, which I'm sure you're all aware of. But in the book, Velocitron is like its own like just its own sub-faction in itself, the Velocitronians instead of Autobots or Decepticons. They're just Velocitronians, and they don't take either side. And then when the Autobots get there and then the Decepticons get there, they kind of like break up into each side. And, then the war keeps going and whatever. But what I'd like to see is, say the Autobots and the Decepticons crash land on a planet somewhat like Earth, but like more alien in design. Like I'm thinking like one of the Forerunner rings in Halo. You know the wildlife in the new Halo Infinite trailer, how it's reminiscent of Earth animals, but it's alien and very kind of far out there, Dakota?
Yeah.
I would like to see like they crash land on a planet like that, and they get there and it's just a colony of Cybertronians that colonize this planet, and they don't want any part of either the war or vehicle-based Transformers, and it's kind of like a very Tigatron-esque feel to the entire planet, where they value the wildlife and the harmony of their planet over the autonomous robotic parts of themselves. So it's very like they show like the Autobots and Decepticons show up, and this planet wants nothing of either. So it's the Autobots and Decepticons trying to survive and war with each other on a planet that doesn't even want them there.
You would think
so. A bunch of hippies is what you're saying.
I mean, you say
a bunch
hippies,
of heavily armed hippies. Armed hippies.
Yeah, definitely.
I was gonna say, like, you would think like the conversation that we're all having here right now would be like even somewhat of an inkling of the conversations that IDW and Hasbro should be having with the brand new era of Transformers books, but it's not. Like, it's just 2-dimensional bullshit. That's all it is. Like Corey got the hardcover of like the first 12 issues, and I was like, oh, sorry, you had to pay for that. I'm sorry, I had to pay for that. But like that's what it is. Like it's so 2-dimensional. Like we came off of something that was very, very much hinting at what you were just talking about, Tyler. Like that's kind of how they incorporated some of the colonies. These colonies had been had been so far removed from Cybertron that they were all very iffy at first when joining the Council of Worlds and all that other stuff. They all kind of had their own like little factions and forms of leadership and what have you. And like that's what I want. That's what I want to see. I want to see some more of that. Like maybe not as much quote unquote politicking and throw in a little more action than some of those books got, but definitely not what we have now. What we have now is just not good. And they had an opportunity with
Candace, what do you think? You've been really quiet this whole time.
I'm sorry. I'm a little tired. I think that would be a pretty great idea. And yeah, I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. I'm digging that idea Tyler threw out there. I think that's pretty sweet. It's a little different than what we've had, so I like it.
See, I have good ideas.
You have
once in a while.
Ideas. Yeah.
Poor Tyler.
No good ideas, Tyler. I shall name you Trouser Snake.
Rage joining.
Oh, Mike's back.
Mike, if you're talking, it's very far away.
I guess I just don't understand the fact that you're saying that, you're saying that this is me on the internet saying all these bad things about you and it wasn't me. I mean, obviously there's someone out there impersonating me and pretending to be me and making things up, and y'all get fake.
Are we
on sinker?
Are we having the same conversation?
No, he's on the phone with Entertainment Earth. I'll just do that. I'll just do that.
I was like, is he talking to me or Tyler?
Motherfucker got caught red-handed lying.
We'll edit that out. We'll edit that out. We don't know what he's talking about.
Oh my god!
I'm not sure.
Listen, I ordered a deluxe Robo doll, and you guys sent me the non-deluxe, and I can't believe that I have to pay twice for this shipping.
No, dude, no. It's It's way more than that, Jed. We'll shelve it. We'll shelve it. For a later time. Just tune into Angry Mike's next angry rant. Like, dude, as soon as he started talking, I was like, he's someone who's impersonating me on the internet. I was like, oh shit, I know what this is about. So kind of back to the topic, if we even can. Yeah, man, like they had this opportunity with this new this new reboot to really incorporate all the factions up front at first if they want to.
Man, y'all were getting the scoop and you had to cut me out.
Oh, we were totally getting the scoop. I was like, oh shit! Like I didn't know
you were talking that shit like it wasn't even me. Someone was impersonating me, and I was like, oh my god, Mike, you played yourself. Like we're live on air.
Oh, she was like, we did our due diligence and investigation and
due diligence.
Yeah, that's the word. And
Digency?
And she's like, we linked you as the Angry Mike by your email.
And your name is Mike. Is that a coincidence?
Well, I told her, I said it wasn't me. She goes, you can't. She kept interrupting me. I said, would you please shut up for a minute and let me finish talking before you interrupt me? Then she's like, this just wasn't our decision. This was the executives. What's their name? Well, you can send an email to Entertainment Earth at sales, yada, yada, yada. I said, what's your name? Bianca Helgard. Bianca Helgard, you can go suck a long one as far as I'm concerned.
Jesus Christ.
Don't worry,
the poor lady on blast for just doing her job.
Yeah, well, you know what? She can do another job as far as I'm concerned.
I love how Dalton and Kabar both. Dalton, Kabar, Chris, everyone knows, like, I'm not really editing that shit out.
Fuck.
Yep.
Man, are you the guy that gets mad at telemarketers when they call you? Like,
man, you better fucking believe it. Oh my god, I will let them sit there and talk and talk and talk, and then I'll be like, "Thank you for wasting your time. Have a good day."
He'll do that. He'll do that with his friends on the phone too. Just let him sit there and talk and talk and talk.
Especially Dalton.
And then, does Dalton ever call you
when he wants something? He's in the chat right now.
He's never called me.
He'd be like, "Fuck you, Mike."
He always texts me or
Mike, we've been trying to reach you about your extended warranty.
Man, I hate those. Oh my god. Man, even my work phone, man, I've been getting all those. We like to help you out with your student loans, and we want to.
Yes.
Like, come on, people. I'm 41 years old. If you ain't get the money yet, you're never going to get it.
My thing is like whenever I get the student loan debt call, I'm like, joke's on you. I'm never paying back my high school lunch debt. I asked for an extra roll every single day.
Did you get it?
Fuck yeah, I got it. What were they going to do? They were going to tell the Husky kid no? I'll reach across that sneeze guard real fast.
Those library books from 1996 are all yours.
Dude, I never went to the library. Surprise, surprise. I didn't really actively want to start reading until I was like a legal adult. Prior to that, I was just like, man, words are dumb. Can I get this on audiobook?
I'm still like that.
So Tyler had an idea. Tyler, you want to share your idea about maybe some type of story collaboration?
Oh yeah. No, I don't actually. Not until because I want to get it all together first.
The Blackout and Shout Stasis Lock fanfic comic finally gets off the ground.
That's it. You got it.
Jed's been working on a motion comic for what seems like 5 years, and it's finally going to be finished soon.
It's been 1 year and 3 months.
That's why I said what seems like 5 years.
Has it only I feel like it's been honestly, if you would have told me to take a stab in the dark from whenever I got the first like inklings of recordings from Tyler, I would have thought it was like 2 to 2.5 years ago.
No, it hasn't been that long.
Nope.
Yeah. Well,
look, I don't.
It's maybe a year and a half. Maybe I'm being.
I don't like talking about stuff that I want to do because usually the pattern is I'll talk about it, I'll get excited about it, and then I won't do anything with it, and it just kind of goes to waste. So I didn't want to talk about it until most of it was already done. But
Dakota, he means we just shoot it down, and then he gets discouraged.
pretty well. Pretty well.
Guys, I got this great idea. Let me do this all by myself, and I can do it. I'm going to tell you I'm going to do it. Nah, that sounds like complete shit, Tyler.
That's a group chat throwback right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, will you just trust me with this? Will you just trust me? Just trust me.
I know, because you
All
guys
right,
were
fine.
talking. Listen. With that conversation, though, you guys were talking about making money and executive pennies and how much turnover we're gonna get. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? We're gonna make 11 cents on the hour. Like, shut the fuck up. Just trust me with this. I can make this happen. You're like, not unless it makes exactly $39 per year. Motherfucker, stop.
I don't think any monetary amount ever came up in that conversation.
Yeah,
That's
no,
exactly
it
what
didn't.
happened.
It didn't.
It definitely
It wasn't. It was like we
It
were
definitely
just talking. We were just talking views and view consistency. That was it.
Actually, see, the numbers that we was bringing up, it wasn't dollar numbers. It was more like the people that when they watch and see. When sometimes you gotta be a little consistent if you want more watchers.
That's what we were talking about.
He sucked back in the spit from his cheeks. You hear that?
Yeah, I had one in reserve, but
Anyway, in short, no, I don't want to talk about it.
okay, that's fair.
No, you don't want it to get ruined.
Nobody
Yeah, I
gets any
understand.
more tea this episode, I guess.
No.
Did anyone else have anything they wanted to add about kind of like reincorporating Beast Wars back into the proper fold that Jed had brought up? Because I want to ask Jed about his actual viewer question. So since you're here to talk,
Oh,
talk
right.
about it.
I was just going to ask if you guys talked about it yet or not.
No, we haven't.
Mike,
What's
how do you
Mike's
want to
on
see it happen?
Give a shit about it, or
He's still on the phone.
No.
There's no fun.
What was the question?
What are you guys
never
talking
mind.
about?
Well, I mean, I had to reboot.
It's-
I checked.
Yeah, he had to reboot. He didn't catch any of that.
Yeah. You have to
It's
tune into the show to find out.
yeah, Mike. Just listen to it and leave it in the comment for us. What you'd want to, how you'd want to.
Hopefully, you get to see the
Don't forget to
comment.
subscribe.
Yeah. Well,
Like and
this, like I said, this one isn't. They turned my comments back on. By the way, Mike.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That's good.
So, man, I put out all the
This
whatnot.
shit ain't for kids.
or nothing. Yeah, this really is. So, Jed had a question. You said I might have answered it, and I don't think we have. Do any of you read the Transformers Legends webcomic? Is it worth the time? Now, I have a pretty good feeling I know what the answer is from everyone, but Candace, have you checked out the Transformers Legends webcomic? Some of the
not. I have
pack-in stuff with the Legends toy line? Any of that?
Nope.
Okay, Mike, what about you?
Didn't even know there was one.
All right, Tyler,
What?
have you checked out any of the Transformers Legends stuff, the webcomics that Takara has put out, and they pack it in with the Japanese, the Transformers Legends line?
No.
Little 3, sometimes 2 to 4 page long stories.
No.
Okay. Jed, it's really funny. Like we talked about it earlier when you asked me that, because I had just been looking into since it's over, and they seem to kind of be going on with whatever the Generation Selects thing is going to be through Takara. They've pretty much like put a nice little bow and tie on the Legends world, and it's a story that ran for like 5 years, and it started out as crazy little black and white, super cartoony things, and it was like very kind of fourth wall breaking like stuff. I've only read like brief kind of synopsises about what it was just as in its entirety.
Right.
And I was really interested to check it out because like now that it's done, I'm like, well, I want to see if I can get some scans for this. And then I wanted to reach out to Karyuto fan subs and ask, like, I know they're working on something right now. I'm not going to say what. I don't know if they've announced that yet, so I don't want to speak too far ahead. But I know he had kind of expressed some interest in like wanting to, like, when there's no more series to do, or even between series, if there's anything left after what they're doing now, if they want to like go into some of the manga, some of the Japanese fiction, which a lot of that older stuff there's some pretty good scans for, and they have access to the scans for. I think they included in the Beast Wars releases and Beast Wars Second, Beast Wars Neo, they included scans to the full mangas for both series. And IDW is putting out, I believe it's IDW, they're putting out a translated G1 manga. I don't know if it's just volume 1 or what it is, but like there seems to be like a move towards that. At least they'll probably stop after the G. Like we probably won't get any of the cool Japanese G1 stuff, unfortunately. Like from Headmasters through Battlestars, they like it'd be sweet if we got it, but I doubt it. But he'd kind of expressed a little bit of interest in maybe going that route, and I thought Legends would probably be a great place to start since it's still kind of new and fresh. Despite really wanting Beast Wars to be done first, obviously, but I really like this concept of Legends. So Legends is basically it's the Beast Wars characters, and they live this kind of real life office style life, and they all have different characterizations of some of the more common fandom characterizations. Like Rat Trap is the fan that likes all of it. He just loves Transformers, obsessed with Transformers. Then I think like Optimus Primal just thinks that like toys are silly, like they're for children. And like Silverbolt like loves the live action movies. Then like another character, I can't remember which one. It may be Optimus Primal, but I can't remember which other character is like thinks that everything that happened after their precious Generation 1 is just trash. Like it takes all the fandom kind of personalities and makes a little story with it, and then it evolves into something more, and there's more like less silly, and it gets a little more serious there at the end. But it's something that I've definitely been wanting to see. So I was tracking down to see if there were scans for everything, and I believe there are, and I believe I was able to find them on an AllSpark post. Few of the scans are a little shoddy, but it'll make do, I think. So, and I guess the short answer, I have not, but it looks interesting enough with all the pack-in stuff that comes with the toys. That's where things look really awesome, in my opinion. So, but Jed, what was your like reasoning for that?
I was looking up some type of I forget what it was, some type of continuity thing in there. I was seeing how they were referencing that Transformers Legends webcomic, and I'm like, what is this? And I looked into it more, and then I saw they actually have like was it RID? I think actually factors into some of it, some stories there, and there's a bunch of other type of crossovers that work with it. But I was actually surprised that majority of it was like Beast Wars characters that were kind of just like like a real world type of situation where everything that we've watched were like cartoons and stuff was like the same to them as it was to us. And like Rat Trap worked for Ravage, and like you were saying about people like Rhinox is the one that only liked G1, and it was interesting, and of course it's all in Japanese, so I was kind of curious if there was like if it was good enough stories to invest into, or if to put the time into finding the translations or anything like that. And I thought since this is a Beast Wars podcast that maybe you guys have had any type of familiarity with it. So
see, and honestly, I didn't learn anything. Like I didn't know that the kind of quote unquote real world Beast Wars characters, I didn't know that they were kind of the focal point until like a few days ago, whenever I kind of started looking into it. And like I think I stumbled across it because I was looking into Great Shot, because I want to pick up the exclusive, the Takara Mall version. And it kind of was like, well, it leads into the pack-in story is prior to Victory, I think is where he popped up at, and where he was, it tied him into like the Six Clan and all that other stuff, and it made the actual connection in canon that he was Six Shot, and just became a good guy and things like that. So,
I bet you that Dalton has read all of them.
That's the thing. Dalton Dalton doesn't read Japanese. But
He's
if
probably
I was
translated all of that right now.
if I was a betting man, like I would, I've actually tried that. I've actually tried running some scans through the Google Translate, but it doesn't pick up all the kanji. So it's just like incomplete speech bubbles. I'm like, man, fuck, I can't even do like a crazy like where we'd get words like deformation and things like that. Like instead of transformation, or instead of transformers, deformers. That's what for whatever reason, what it translates to. But yeah, like knowing that the Beast Wars characters were the focal point there, like of course now I want to know like all about it. But it branches together like you said, all the continuities, more or less, in this weird own little universe. It's interesting.
Right.
It's an interesting take. I've seen some people though, like some fans that get a little too serious about this, get a little too in their feelings, are just like, why are they over sexualizing these characters? Why is it that all the women, why is it that why do they have bikinis on? Why do they have to why do they do this? Oh, it's fucking Japan. Okay. They have tentacle
Sounds
porn.
like Tyler.
Look, man,
Tyler, is that your opinion?
leave it to some fucking white people to regulate how other people fucking do their shit. For
Other
real.
cultures, like entire cultures. Yeah.
Oh my god, you stand up against racism but are gonna dictate how another culture fucking portrays their media? Shut the fuck up, Karen.
Hopefully sooner than later, man. Like I was really hoping that apparently, I don't know when the epilogue came out. The epilogue had to have come out last year.
Jim Fong in the chat. Primal is king. Why Primal vocal? Please stop it. Get some help.
Jim Fong, what's up, dude? I know there's a language barrier there with Jim Fong, but I appreciate you for showing up, man. That's awesome. That's awesome that he was able to pick up on it.
You sounded like grandma.
Anyways, man, I was really hoping that they would release a book, that Takara would have released a book with the legend stories, but they probably won't. Like it, I don't know if that's a thing they do still now or what or not, but I would love to see it translated. I'd love to read it. It's another one of those. That's something, dude. We really should have got stateside. Like Hasbro really should have done something like that. They really should have done it for the selects, because like all the other selects stuff doesn't have like any kind of pack-in fiction unless it's the Takara Tomy stuff, and it's all web exclusive. Which means there for you to see. But
there was like a G1 black and white manga. I can't recall, but it was. I remember Starscream's Ghost came back, and kind of interacted with them like in the beginning or something. I forget how that whole thing went, but it was a good story, and it was done really well. The art and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if it's not colorized, like I would still, like I said, like I plan on picking up the printing, the translated and printing one that IDW is going to put out of the G1 manga. Like I want to get it. Like I want to check it out. Like that's all of that is unturned stone over here. You know what I mean? Like it's just not something we have access to.
And this the 2020s. This is going to be the decade of the Beast Wars fans. I can foresee it right now. I think you're going to have a live action movie. I think you're going to have new anime series. You're going to have comics. You're going to have figures. You're going to have all types of cool stuff.
I think we'll get announcements for all that cool stuff this year, but I don't think we'll see any of that until 2021. I think the 25th anniversary. I feel overly optimistic.
Sorry, did I say year? I meant decade. These 10 years coming up. I think it's going to be
10 years. A full decade would fuck me up, like just financially. I'm fine with like a nice 2 to 3 year stretch, and then like just let me finish out some masterpiece. Let's get a full, another trilogy. Like let's get our own little trilogy, right? Of modern toy lines and generations type stuff, and then I think I'd be good calling it in right there. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to disagree. mainly for the sake of disagreeing, but I honestly don't think that 2020 is going to be the decade of Beast Wars. And I'll tell you why. Because I feel like to Hasbro specifically, 25 years of Beast Wars doesn't mean anything compared to 35 years of G1.
Well, it would be 35 years of G1 movie. Like 2021 would be what the 30? What are we? We're at 35 years now. Is that 35th anniversary was 2019? So in 2 years it'll be the 30, or yeah, in 2 years it'll be the 37th. 1 year it'll be the 37th. Whatever. Like 37 isn't a number. Like it's not a celebratory number, but where the Transformer, where the G1 nostalgia took off was the 25th anniversary. But like that all perfectly lines up, Tyler. Like if we get 3 years of Beast Wars from 2021 to 2024, then 2024 that can be their big 40-year bash, and like that's fine. I'll be out. You know.
I guess that makes sense. I don't know, man. Every corner I see G1 overtaking the spotlight over any other Transformers iteration. And if Mike was here, I'd be like, yeah, because he's better. But like,
is that what Mike Kincaid sounds like? Yeah, he's better.
Go Bert. Yeah, go Bert. You never. G1's better. Go Birds.
Wow.
No, but like, I don't know. I just feel like the G1 nostalgia eclipses any other nostalgia that other people have. The same, like it's mainly just like 80s nostalgia. 80s nostalgia eclipses other people's nostalgia because if you're going to say it's going to be the year of Beast Wars, that means it's going to be the decade of Beast Wars. That means it's going to be the decade of reboot. It's going to be the decade of all these other 90s shows that were really popular in the 90s, and I just don't see that happening.
Well, this is what.
Well, dude, there's
time marches on, right, man? So, like, you had people who were in my age frame where the '80s nostalgia, hit home, and they really pushed it the past, 5-10 years. So now that you guys are gonna get older and get that nostalgic feeling, you're gonna get that the 2020s are gonna be that '90s nostalgia is gonna be creeping through. So.
I think 90s nostalgia in general, yes. Like there's talks like of X-Men the animated series getting follow-up seasons done for Disney Plus, which was a huge 90s thing. And like I feel like the reboot would kill any kind of reboot anything for the 2020s, but again, dude, like I definitely think that we're definitely going to see at least, I feel, 3 years, 1 to 3 years of Beast Wars stuff in generations, and I think it'll start in 2021. Jose in the chat real quick said G1 was the beginning. That's why it's fondest for most. But like, I would like to kind of counter that point. There's a lot of G1 fans that have a great fondness for Beast Wars, and I think that with what Siege and Earthrise are doing, and I guess whatever the third arc, which would probably get us primed for Beast Wars. It's just rehashing the same chug stuff, albeit better. Siege and Earthrise at least appears, but Siege definitely was, in my opinion, a better retake on the classics line, which focused on a lot of primary G1 characters, and you're getting a lot of crazy stuff out of that. Japanese stuff, the later 87 to 91 or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, Dakota. That's absolutely correct. And they're just rehashing the same exact characters again for a different line, but
right. But like, I don't think the 80s group is going to be down with that shit for a third time in a row.
Right.
And I think they know that. I think they're like, okay, we're really pushing it here with this second rehash, but they're also getting some more niche things out of the way, like those Cybertronian designs and things like that.
You might be right. I'm completely open to being wrong here. I just personally, I think we'll just see more wash, rinse, repeat, and maybe that's just because what the past has shown me, like it's just a lot more wash, rinse, repeat. And I know loving G1 doesn't mean you have to hate Beast Wars. I'm not talking. I know there's tons of people out there that like both. And that's like, I'm not talking about those people.
Like me.
I love
Yeah.
me some Japanese G1, and like I love G1 multi-parters. You know, is it something that I would particularly sink as much income as I have into Beast Wars? No.
I think
But-
that's just that's just one of those telltale signs of like it being an internet conversation where if you don't like what I like, then you must hate it. There's no gray area, you know.
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
fair too.
Yeah, I think that's that actually plays a big part in it.
Jim Fong asked, but really Michael Bay. I guess he's in like referencing to live action movies. I would absolutely take a Michael Bay live action Beast Wars, like 100%. Whatever you want to say about those live action movies, they did so much good for the brand, so much good for the brand. And
Really,
if it
was
gave
only
Beast
the
Wars,
movie critics, and it was only the diehard Transformers fans that didn't like it. Casuals loved it, which is why it made money hand over fist.
except for movie 5 and Bumblebee.
It sucked.
Well, movie 5 was garbage. And
Well, that's the thing. The Bumblebee movie, hardcore fans loved it, but it still didn't make any money.
It was
Um,
80s
so-
nostalgia, 100% 80s
Mhm.
nostalgia for that
Right.
movie.
So,
So from the soundtrack
and
to
there was
the-
a point that I
But-
wanted to.
With
there
that
was a
said,
point that I wanted to say with
it
that
still
too.
didn't make money. That's what's wild.
No.
Like that 80s nostalgia did not make them that money.
it was profitable. I mean, they even said in the
Look, it was
He
profitable, but
in an executive meeting, it was profitable. I mean,
But the
it wasn't,
last night-
it wasn't blow me away $1 billion profitable, but it was
right.
look,
still
It was
last
enough
night,
to
it didn't lose money like the fifth movie. So.
it. See,
Well,
I think it barely broke. I know you're trying to talk, Tyler. I'm sorry. I think
Oh,
it barely broke even. I think it barely broke even. After marketing,
Tyler,
all the
you're
money
like,
they would
you're
put into
rich.
marketing.
Tyler,
yeah, I'm looking it up right now to see what it did.
we must have rehashed this conversation about 5,000 times.
Jesus, TM2 Dinobot, that's fucking savage. China doesn't like
Wow.
the 80s. It reminds them of starvation. Jim Fong, you got a cabinet full of Bayformers? You said he has I have a cabinet full of them. So now I need to know what he has a cabinet full of.
So okay, the last night grossed 130 million in the U.S. and Canada, and 475 million in other territories for a worldwide 605.4 million, against a budget of 217 million. So it made almost 3 times the budget back.
Wait, is that 217 include the advertising?
Yeah, I don't
It
think
says production budget, so I'm assuming no.
no.
Take production budget and put it in half, and then add that on. That's usually how much it costs for like commercials and stuff.
Okay, so it still made double its budget back then.
Okay.
So, it was profitable. It wasn't as profitable as the previous films, but it was profitable. And it was a trash fucking movie. Like, the spectacle was the CGI and the designs and the fights, but the story was just god awful.
Wait,
Now,
which movie? Which movie did you look up for?
Last night.
Oh, I thought you looked up for the Bumblebee movie. I was talking about the Bumblebee movie.
Hang on.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to make a point. So the last night,
I'm collating.
the last night was a terrible movie, and it made $605.4 million. Bumblebee movie was supposedly loved by everyone, and it only made what, 420, 440?
Are you saying it only made $400 million?
Or,
yeah, $468 million.
What was the budget?
Who cares? That's not what I'm saying. The budget does not. The budget does not put people in seats. The reputation does. The reputation of Transformers only got bigger and bigger and bigger, regardless of critics, regardless of
Fans.
the hardcore fans. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it peaked with. Did it peak with Dark of the Moon? I think Dark of the Moon was the biggest one, and then it came back down again for Age of Extinction. Then it plummeted with Last Night.
Well, see, I think it was either Dark of the Moon or Age of Extinction, because I know they filmed additional scenes in China with Chinese actors for the Chinese market because it was such a big thing for them. Like, I know when Age of Extinction hit, like, there was crazy shit going on. Like, I think Singapore got like some lucky draws at a couple of shops. Like, it was wild, but I don't know if Age of Extinction made. I don't know if it made what Dark of the Moon made. I know that there was a big push for that market because of how well Dark of the Moon sold, though.
Yeah. Hang on, I got it right here.
But like, I mean, like you're saying that
Age of Extinction made 1.1 billion.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, worldwide. Anyway, so the reason I'm bringing this all up is if Bumblebee was so amazing and it capitalized on nostalgia and it did so much better, or it was so much better than all the other movies, why did it make less than the worst possible Transformers movie to date?
I think a lot of people gave up seeing the movies.
But
I think it was.
I don't know. It's just what I've heard from a lot of people.
The whole marketing was that Bumblebee was bringing back G1 nostalgia to the point where they even mentioned that Blitzwing was Blitzwing. They thought they let everyone think it was Starscream because it had so much likeness to him, and then they announced it later.
You we're talking about like the marketing real quick. There was also like no, it's a reboot. No, it's a prequel. No, it's a reboot. Well, it's a prequel boot. Like, what is it?
So Bumblebee made about 270 million profit out of everything from the production budget to advertising to the rollout of the worldwide gross.
But the profit doesn't matter. The amount of people that bought tickets and filled seats.
I would say that's right. I would say that profit matters. Like, profit's the only thing that matters.
Yeah. I'm saying if you go from having a production budget of 250 million and you have to bring that production budget down to half that just to make a profit, you're not winning just because you made a profit. You're still losing money. You're just not losing as much because the budget is cut in half.
I don't think it's that you're losing money. I think it's that you're just not tapping into more money that you could tap into. Like I know, depending on the businessman you ask, they'll be like, "Well, that's losing money." I'm not that way. Like, the way I look at it is Hasbro made a small profit, and Hasbro made a small profit. They see that as a profit, and they're like, "Well, we can keep doing this." You know.
So what year did Siege start?
2000
last
year? 2018?
Late 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like late 2018, early 2019. It lasted a full year, so 2019.
Let's go back to basically a business mentality, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a declining, like Dalton would say, burnout of these Bayformer, Transformers and toys that probably aren't selling as much as what they were before because the movies aren't doing as well as what they were before. The
studio series is fucking killing it right now.
So you took a movie and you put in the 80s nostalgia, right? And you threw in that first 3 minutes of them being on Cybertron and stuff. That basically, I think, helped sell the Siege line as a big, huge advertisement for that line that was already out.
And Jose did say the G1 stuff in Bumblebee was added in last minute. It was supposed to be a soft reboot, so
right.
Huh. Maybe. I think maybe. Like, honestly, you're probably definitely right about that, Jed, about it being just something to kind of help boost the line. The thing is, like, and you may be able to pull up numbers quick. I don't know how to look for whatever numbers they made, but like what they made in 2018 opposed to what they made in 2019, or if the 2019 numbers are even published yet.
They do, but each quarter they publish their numbers. They're not very specific on franchises. They usually say that it was percentage wise they made more than this. So
right, so there's no way to tell there. But
the Siege toys rolled out in October 2018,
and then the movie came out in December. So I think if that was added later, then that's a nice expensive commercial for that toy line, and it probably helped and worked.
Maybe.
And if the movie was still profitable, if it still made money, it didn't lose anything. They didn't scrounge, right? Then that's even better. So they have more money in their pocket for things.
No, it's still not. It's not more money in your pocket.
It is.
If you're used to making 1.1 billion after only spending 250 million, you're not making the same profit, the more money in your pocket as you are with 125 million budget, making only less than 500 million.
No,
Still
that
making
just means,
profit though.
it just means that you're making more for percentage of a profit than you are. That's all. You're making 4 times as much as you spent versus how much you're actually making. 2 times as much or whatever. So it's not considered a failure. It's just that it's not as profitable as the previous movie.
I think it just depends on how whatever manager, whatever brand manager, or even if I'm pretty sure Goldner's the one that has to give everything the say so on that. Just what he views as successful or not successful. Because ultimately it is. It's all his opinion. Like that's what it really boils down to.
And if that movie may not have been as profitable for say cinema numbers, but it actually boosted the toy line sales, whereas it would have before, then that's even more profitable for that company.
I don't think Transformers will ever be as profitable as it was around Revenge of the Fallen. I don't think the toy line will ever be that profitable again.
I would argue it's more profitable now. And not just because of the increase in prices either. But I think that I'm of a mind, right? I think that Revenge of the Fallen movie line was peak for engineering and everything that could be good about Transformers for a mainline Transformers. I think that 2009 was, or Revenge of the Fallen rather, was the peak for that. But I still think that what they're doing now, I feel like what they're doing now is at least comparable in terms of sales and everything else. But you're also looking at there's no more Toys R Us now, and brick and mortar is pretty much on its way out the door. Sooner or later, it's all going to be retail. It's all going to be what can Big Bad, Entertainment Earth, Amazon, and whatever else. How can they, how much can they move to us, and how would that undercut anything?
I'm just saying, when it was Revenge of the Fallen, you had the Revenge of the Fallen line, which was the movie figures.
Mm-hmm.
You had Reveal the Shield, I believe, on top of that.
I think it was Generations and then Reveal the Shield after that. Revenge of the Fallen lasted a good year and a half or 2 years or something like that.
But you had multiple lines within that year that were funded by how successful the movies were. And then the next year, Dark of the Moon, you saw they kind of dialed it back a little bit. And then the last night, they dialed it back even further. The toys were just staggering.
They really didn't, though. With Dark of the Moon, you had the Dark of the Moon line, you had Generations, and you had Prime.
Or not Dark of the Moon.
And you had Beast Hunters. Or not Beast Hunters,
Age of Extinction.
Rescue Bots. You had Rescue Bots. So you had 4 lines out at the time of Dark of the Moon. Age of Extinction, you would have had the Age of Extinction line, you would have had the Generations line, you would have had whatever Rescue Bots was, and I think that's when they started to roll out Robots in Disguise. So there were still 4 toy lines going on at the time. And then the last night, you would have had the movie line, the Kid Appeal line. I don't know if it was Cyberverse or what or not at that point in time. And then Generations. So that's where it really kind of came down to 3. And then now you've got Studio Series, Generations, Cyberverse.
Oh, I always forget about Studio Series.
Yeah. And like I said, just 10 minutes ago, Studio Series is making
regular masterpiece.
Studio Series is doing really well for them.
Tyler, I just looked at the last night numbers, and it only did 20 million more than Bumblebee profit wise. So,
yeah,
that's
I'm not debating that. No, I think it was only 150 million more profit wise.
No, it's it's a production budget of 217. You take half of that, so let's say 320, and then you have a worldwide gross of 600. So that's still only 280, and Bumblebee did 260, 270 profit. So they're pretty close. Definitely not in the billions,
TM2 Dinobot says we had Dark of the Moon in 2012. We had an oil price hike in 2011. It killed toy prices worldwide. I really don't know how much of that
That's a good point.
oil cost per barrel affects toy costs because of plastic. I really don't know how much of that is complete and utter bullshit and how much of that is legitimate. Like, I feel like it's just a really good way to say, fuck you, stop asking us questions. If I'm being real. Like, if I'm being as real as I can be about it. I think that's all that is. Like, around Christmas time when they were like, hey, beginning of the year, Hasbro, we're going to up all of our prices, a little bit because of tariffs. All that was just, fuck you, I don't want to take a 1% salary cut. But that was all that was.
Yeah. Well, they even said when they're cutting, because they're going to cut back on plastic on their packaging, they said they're going to pass those costs off onto the consumer.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, I think that barrel of oil price, I think that's all horse shit. Or I think it's at least 85% horse shit. So.
All the new Beast Wars figures will be wrapped in leaves.
Have like figs for the twist ties.
Yeah, you're gonna have there'll be like bamboo
or
cages. That's
wicker. It's just gonna be wicker.
Yeah,
Oh man. I think I'm going to shelve this week's topic for next week. We've been going for a while. Do any of you guys have anything you want to add to this? I know it's just been the three of me and Jed talking over Tyler rather for a minute.
Man. I'm curious, Candace, you got a pain in your neck being lopsided like that? I'm surprised you don't have a pain in your neck on the left side there because you got the spider in the right. It's probably like throwing your head off balance a little bit.
You have a spider on your head?
I'm fine.
Oh, she does.
Thank you.
Get the fuck out of here.
Put it on her. There it is.
No. Oh my god, okay. I thought it was a fucking real
Usually, yes, there are spiders
Australia?
crawling around on me. They're around me all the time. So I
Jesus
might as well
Christ.
wear one.
I couldn't do it. The phobia kicks in. Scared the living shit out of me.
Oh, Dakota.
I thought you just had like a gigantic ass pet tarantulas or something. Tarantula. And you're just like letting that thing crawl around your head. I was like, Lord, no. I was like, that you gotta be nope. Mm-mm. No.
Meanwhile,
Dakota
Dakota's
always set his
got
own
a
head on
gator.
fire. Kill a spider.
Just like, yeah, I'm trying to make sure I don't have one crawling on me now that I've been talking about it.
Because that's how that works.
That's exactly
Yeah,
how it works.
people-
You talk about it, they come out of all the fucking cracks and nooks and crannies. They get on you.
Yes. It's like ticks too. Oh, I had a tick on me. Now it feels like I have a tick on me forever. You keep looking, you keep feeling
Like I can't even I feel like every time I step on a spider to kill it, I'm not one of those let it back out into the wild. Nope. Came into my home, came into this domicile, this safe space of mine, and it violated it, and it's gonna fucking die. I'm not about let's grab like a plate and a cup and let's capture it and set it back out and let it do nature's beautiful nature thing. It's gonna nature die. But after I step on it, I feel like I've got a million of them crawling over me. I gotta take my shoe off. I gotta kick my leg around in the air.
You do all that twitching like you're on drugs or something?
Yeah, I really do. I look like I'm that lady in Meyer that just got super famous for trying to help you motherfuckers.
Did you ever flush something down the toilet and then see it the next day, hanging out in the house?
No. That's because I'm in Louisiana, isn't it? That's the only reason you asked that question.
That's true.
They don't even have sewers down there. They just open a hatch and the toilet, all the shit falls from the toilet
actually
into the swamp beneath their house.
We're
Just walk away.
It's what's really funny is I'm on well water, so it's not city water, but
me too.
our city water, our waste rather, gets dumped out into the neighboring city's drinking water. And like when I say the neighboring city, like the neighboring city is it's just separated by a river. There's Shreveport and then there's Bossier. So Bossier's drinking water is like all of our shit and piss water. and it definitely has a different taste, you know, like there's something like they got a like triple filter, like it's got like it just like one of like whenever I was like I guess in my early 20s. God, listen to me say early 20s. Fuck. My late teens, early 20s, a friend of mine, I convinced him, I was like, dude, just come over into Shreveport. We'll go grab something to eat. We were at a restaurant. We both got a water. He was like, damn, this water tastes good. I was like, what do you mean? He said, it's really good tasting water. I said, it just tastes like water to me, dude. Like, I don't know. He was just like, it's just a lot better than the drinking water we have in Bossier. I was like, oh, and then that's whenever I started to do some research. I was like, wow, y'all drink that shit? I wouldn't even shit in that water because I've previously shat in that water.
So we're contaminating it.
Well then.
Kabar said, I'm totally that guy that releases spiders. Yeah, dude, it's not me. I'm not that guy.
Nope.
They die. There was one, man. I went outside to smoke one time a few years back, and it made a big old web. It was like, I got a palm tree in my front yard, and it was like webbed up between that and the there's like a little like awning over my front door and the post there. And I was like, shit, how am I gonna get this? Because I know if I swat at it, the webs are gonna get stuck to whatever I swat at it with, and it's gonna crawl over me. It's gonna bite shit out of me because I tried killing it. And so instead, I was like, I got it. I'll spray it with chemicals. So I started I got the 409 out, gave it a few squirts, and it didn't move. It was just like, fuck you, that ain't nothing to me. I was like, okay. So then I have a can of clear coat. It was just some cheap, it may have been Krylon actually. So I'm spraying it with the clear coat, and I see it gets kind of pissed off at that clear coat. But it wasn't enough. Like it didn't move. Like I wanted to see it physically shrivel up. So I've sprayed probably half a can of clear coat on this thing, and I can see it. Like I can see the clear coat's like stuck to the webbing. Like it's kind of getting thick and everything. Like it's glistening in the light. And finally, I was like, "Fuck this!" I took my lighter out and I gave it a burst with the clear coat, and like damn near caught I could have caught the entire house on fire. I didn't, but I watched just a large ball of fire flare up, go back, and I didn't see that fucking spider anymore. So I knew the job was done.
He had the cleanest, shiniest spider.
for a brief moment before it got lit up, because clear coat is very flammable. So, anyways, if chemicals don't work, fire will. But don't burn your house down. Yep.
So tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
That's fair. Mike, where can people find you at? Speaking of real dads.
Find me everywhere as Angry Mike.
Tyler?
I don't know.
All right, that's good.
Opinions DCS.
I'll tell you what.
I couldn't even say it right. I was trying to get it out fast.
Candace, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Facebook at CannedIceArt. You can find me on Instagram, CannedIce.Santora, Twitter at Candace Santora, and YouTube, Candace Santora.
All right. You looked up all your socials, didn't you? I
just like to keep it going smoothly.
Just keep it a little simple.
You get right on that.
And we were joined tonight, special late edition. Jed, where can people find you at, Jed?
You can find me everywhere by searching for Blackout and Shout, where all podcasts are sold.
Jed is Blackout and Shout.
I am the Senate.
Dude, was it you that shared the meme of whenever you have to people that run the podcast or whatever.
Yeah, I made that a couple months ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I was like, "Fuck, if he ain't lying." Before you get out of here, though, you can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath. I forget it's not on my channel anymore. Before we get out of here, you should check out some other cool shows, part of the Cool Table Network, such as Shattercast Uncut, In the Realms, We Detox, Big Bangin, Beers, Bulge, 40K, Plastic Max, Breaking Mold, Areas, Radio, Fresh Communications, Building Up to a Verbally Challenge, and one of my personal favorites, Masterpiece Shitpiece Theater. And, of course, you can check out Blackout and Shout all queued up off the Runner, Cybercast, Galactic Combo in around 30 minutes with Matthew Deluxe Baldwin. We thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys. Maybe we'll be here next week. We'll be here next week.